book is Cinderella and Snow White. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Wicked Stepmother. Once upon a time, there lived a pretty girl. Her name was Ella. She lived happily with her parents. She was a sweet and loving daughter, but unfortunately, Ella's mother became very ill and died. Before she died, she called her only daughter to her bedside. "My dearest child," she said, "be good and kind, and God will always help you." Some years later, Ella's father married again. He hoped that his new wife would be a good mother, but she was a wicked woman. Her two daughters were wicked and selfish too. Ella grew up to be a beautiful young girl. Her stepmother and stepsisters were very jealous. They hated Ella. They made Ella do all the housework. She cleaned the floors, washed the clothes, and prepared the food. She worked hard and sunrise to sunset. Poor Ella wore only dirty clothes. She slept on the ice attic, but her stepsisters never did any work. They had warm, carpeted bedrooms. Their closets were full of beautiful clothes. They spent every day having fun. Ella was sad and tired, but she did not complain. When she had finished her work, she sat by the fire to keep warm. Then her stepsister would tease her. "Look at her, she's so dirty. She's covered with dirty cinders. We should call him Cinderella." "Yes, let's call her Cinderella. Cinderella, fetch my new hat. Cinderella, you're stupid. Get the blue hat, not the yellow one." One day, an invitation came from the palace. They were all invited to the prince's ball. The stepmother and her daughters were very excited. All day long, they talked about their new dresses. "I will wear my blue dress," said the dean's stepsister. "I will be the most beautiful lady here." "No, the prince will only notice me," said the plump stepsister, "especially when I hear my silk dress." On the day of the ball, Cinderella had to help her stepsisters. She ironed their dresses and cleaned their shoes. She also helped them to do their hair. "Cinderella," said one stepsister, "do you want to go to the ball?" "I'd love to go," she said quietly, "but I have nothing to wear." "Oh, you're right," said the other. "People will only laugh at you." Finally, the coach arrived and took them to the ball. Cinderella watched them until she could no longer see them. She was very miserable, so she ran to the chicken. She began to cry. Chapter 2. A Night at the Ball. Suddenly, there was a flash of light. Then a fairy appeared. "I'm your godmother," said the fairy. "Why are you crying, dear child?" "I'm so lonely," she sobbed. I want to go to the ball." "You can go to the ball, Cinderella," she said. "Bring me your largest pumpkin." Cinderella wondered why she wanted a pumpkin, but she brought her godmother the biggest one. The godmother touched it with her magic wand. Ting! Suddenly, the big pumpkin turned into a gold coach. Cinderella could not believe her eyes. "Wow!" she shouted. "Now, run to the barn and bring me 6 mice," said her godmother. Cinderella brought them to her godmother. She touched them with her wand. Ting! The 6 mice turned into 6 white horses. "Now, find me a large black rat and 6 wizards." "Okay," said Cinderella. She hurried into the garden and caught a rat and wizards. With a touch of magic wand, the rat became a coachman, and the wizard became a 6-foot man. Cinderella was surprised. Wow, how amazing, she said. Now you can go to the ball, said her godmother. But I can't go in this dirty grass, said Cinderella sadly. Oh, don't worry, her godmother said. She touched Cinderella with her wand. Ting! Cinderella ran to look at herself in the mirror. She was wearing a beautiful gown. Sapphires were shining in her hair. Then her godmother gave her a pair of glassy slippers. Now listen carefully, Cinderella. You must leave the ball before midnight. After midnight, your coat will turn back into a pumpkin, and your horses, coachman, and footman will disappear. I will, said Cinderella. Go and enjoy yourself, said her godmother. When Cinderella arrived at the palace, the prince was surprised at her beauty. He fell in love with her at first sight. He took her hand and led her onto the dance floor. He never left her side all evening. But no one knew who the mysterious stranger was. Who is that beautiful girl? They said. Oh, look at her beautiful gown. They whispered. She is lovely. Others said. She must be a princess. Cinderella and the prince danced and danced all night. Everybody could take their eyes off her. After a while, the clock began to strike 11:45. It was time to Cinderella to leave. The prince kissed her hand. I would like to see you again tomorrow, said the prince. Then her coach carried her home. When she arrived home, the clock struck 12 o'clock. Then her coach turned back into a fat pumpkin. The horses turned into mice, and her coachman and footman turned into rats and rejoiced. Cinderella looked down her clothes. Her beautiful gown had turned into her dirty clothes. Cinderella sat down by the fire. Soon after, her stepmother and stepsisters returned home. The ball was wonderful, said her stepsister. The prince looked very handsome. But he only danced with one woman all night. She was very beautiful and mysterious. Who was she? Asked Cinderella. Nobody knows, said her stepmother. She might be princess. Everybody kept watching her, especially the prince. Really? Said Cinderella. I'd love to go to the ball tomorrow. What? Look at you, shouted her stepsister. You're so dirty. Don't be stupid. The next night, her fairy godmother appeared again. As before, she prepared everything for Cinderella. Her golden gown was lovely. Diamonds sparkled in her hair. She was more beautiful than the night before. Now remember, said the godmother, leave before midnight. Yes, I won't forget, said Cinderella as she left. Chapter 3. The Glass Slipper. As soon as Cinderella entered the party, the prince came to her side. They laughed and danced all night. Cinderella enjoyed herself so much that she forgot the time. Suddenly, Cinderella heard a clock striking midnight. She jumped up in surprise. Without a word, she ran from a ballroom. She dropped one of her glass slippers on the steps, but she did not have time to pick it up. The prince followed, but he could not catch her. The beautiful stranger had disappeared. He only saw a dirty little maid running down the staircase. The prince was very unhappy. Then he saw something shiny on the stairs. It was her glass slipper. Cinderella's coach disappeared, so she had to walk home. She was very tired and sat down to rest. Soon, her stepmother and stepsister arrived. The mysterious woman was at the ball again, said one stepsister. She was really beautiful. The prince clearly loves her, said the other. But she disappeared at midnight again, shouted her stepmother. She keeps running away. She must be a secret. Cinderella kept silent. Only she knew the beautiful stranger's secret. A few days later, the palace announced, Listen, all you good people, the prince will visit every home in the kingdom. He will marry the girl whose foot fits the glass slipper. Everyone was very excited. Will the prince find his true love? They wondered. Hundreds of young ladies tried on the glass slipper, but nobody had the right size foot. At last, the prince came to Cinderella's house. It will fit my foot, said the tall, thin stepsister, but her foot was too long. Let me try, said short, plump stepsister. She pushed it and pulled, but her foot was too fat. May I try it on? Said Cinderella. You! Cried her stepsisters. You never went to the ball. Go and finish washing the floors. Come, try it on, said the prince kindly. Every young woman in the kingdom must try on the glass slipper. Cinderella stepped down to try it on. It fits perfectly. She took the other slipper from her pocket and put it on. Suddenly, her godmother appeared. She touched Cinderella with her wand. Ting! Cinderella was again dressed in a beautiful gown and fine jewelries. The stepsisters and their mother were shocked. They fell to their knees. Oh no, they cried. You're the mysterious stranger. Please forgive us, begged her stepmother. Of course, I will, said Cinderella kindly. I love you so much, said the prince. Will you marry me? Yes, my love, said Cinderella. The next day, a splendid wedding was held for Cinderella and her prince. Many people came to celebrate their wedding. Cinderella and the prince lived happily ever after. Step 2. Snow White. Chapter 1. Meter, Meter. Once there lived a king and queen in an old castle. One snowy night, a queen was sewing a bonnet. She pricked her finger with a needle. When she saw 3 drops of blood, she made 3 wishes. May my daughter have hair as black as the night, she said. May she have skin as white as snow. May her lips be as red as blood. Soon after, the queen had a little daughter. She was as white as snow, as red as blood, and as black as the night. So they named her Snow White. Snow White grew up to be beautiful, but sadly the queen died and king remarried. The new queen was beautiful, but she was also vain, very vain. She often looked into her magic mirror and asked, Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the most beautiful woman of all? And the mirror always answered, You, my queen, are the most beautiful in the land. One day the mirror answered the queen, You, my queen, are beautiful, but Snow White is more beautiful than you. The queen turned pale and with anger. She called her woodsman and said, Take Snow White into the woods and kill her. I'll never want to see her again. The woodsman took Snow White into the forest, but she did not want to hurt her. Please don't kill me, begged Snow White. I will not hurt you, he said. Find somewhere to hide. Do not return to the castle. I will tell the queen you're dead. Then he left her. Poor Snow White wandered through the woods. The sounds of the wild beasts frightened her, but the birds protect her, and they brought her berries and nuts to eat. It was almost dark when she found a little cottage. Hello, is anybody home? She called, but no one answered. The door was unlocked, so she went in. Those 7 beds are very small. The table is set for 7. I wonder who lives here. She was very hungry. So she picked a little piece of food from each plate. Then she drank a little wine from each glasses. She felt tired and sleepy. Which of the beds is most comfortable? She asked herself, and she tried them all. The seventh bed was perfect. So she lay down and went to sleep. Before long, the seven dwarfs returned from their work. When they entered the cottage, they knew something was wrong. "Who sat in my chair?" said Dog, the rather of the dwarfs. Who ate off my plate?" said Sleepy. Then she yawned. "Who picked up my bread?" said Duppy. "Who touched my spoon?" said Sneezy. "Ashito, Ashito!" "Who used my poke?" said Happy. "Who cut with my knife?" whispered Basper. "Who drank my wine?" said Grumpy. "Oh, look, there's someone in my bed." They all clouded around Snow White. "What a lovely child she is," said Happy. "Shh! Don't wake her." The next morning, Snow White told them her story. They felt sorry for her. "Stay here, Snow White," said Duck. "But remember, the Queen will find you. Keep the door locked. Don't open the door for anyone." Step 2. The Evil Queen. The Queen thought Snow White was dead. She believed that she was now the most beautiful woman. One day, she looked into her mirror and said, "Mirror, mirror, on the wall, who is the most beautiful woman on earth?" But it had a surprising answer. "You, my queen, are beautiful, but Snow White is more beautiful than you." The jealous queen was shocked. How could Snow White still be alive? "I must kill Snow White," she cried. She dressed herself as an old gypsy. Then she went to the dwarf's cottage. "Pretty ribbons for sale," she called. Then she knocked the door. Snow White looked through the window. "It's just an old gypsy woman," she thought. So she unlocked the door. "What colors do you have?" asked Snow White. "Here's a pretty red ribbon for your dress," the old gypsy answered. "Let me tie it for you." "You're very kind," said Snow White. She tied the ribbon around Snow White's waist. But she tied it too tight. Snow White could not breathe. She fell to the ground. "That's the end of you, your beauty," cried the wicked queen, and she returned home. Luckily, the seven dwarfs returned early that evening. She found Snow White lying beside the door. She was pale and breathless. They lifted her up and cut the ribbon. Gradually, she began to breathe more easily. Then she opened her eyes. She told them what had happened. "The gypsy was really the queen," said Dog. "Remember, do not open the door to anyone." When the queen arrived home, she went straight to her mirror. She again asked it the same question, and again it answered, "You, my queen, are beautiful, but Snow White is more beautiful than you." Again she was angry. "How can she still be alive?" she screamed. "She couldn't be breathed when I left her." So the next day, she disguised herself as an old woman. She took a poison comb with her. She again knocked on the cottage door. "Fine combs and brushes for sale," she called. "I cannot open the door," said Snow White. "Look at this pretty comb," said the old woman. "It will all be lovely in your hair. I will pass it through the window for you." But when the comb touched Snow White's hair, she fell to the ground. "Now, lie there forever!" screamed the evil queen. Then she hurried away. When the dwarfs returned that evening, Snow White still lay on the ground. "The queen poisoned her," cried Dog. "Look, there's a strange comb in her hair." When she moved it, Snow White woke up. She promised again to keep the door and windows locked. That night, the queen asked her mirror the same question, but again it gave her the same answer. She screamed, and shocked with anger. "Snow White must die," she cried. She dressed herself as a farmer's wife. Then she poisoned old apple. She hurried to the dwarf's cottage and knocked at the door. "I can't open the door," said Snow White through the window. "Let me give you this tasty apple," said the farmer's wife. "No," shouted Snow White, "I can't take it." But the queen was clever. Only one side of the apple was poisoned. "What are you afraid of?" she said. "Look, I will take a bite." Now Snow White believed the old farmer's wife. But as soon as she took a bite, she fainted on the ground. "This time, nothing will save you," screamed the evil queen. When she alighted, she asked the mirror the same question. "You, my queen, are the most beautiful in the end," it replied. She was delighted. Chapter 3. The Glass Coffin. That evening, the dwarfs returned and found Snow White. They thought she was dead. "She is too beautiful to be buried in the cold ground," sobbed Grumpy. "We will make a glass coffin," said Happy sadly. "Then we will place it on the hill," cried Sleepy quietly. "We will watch over her," said Dog. One day, a prince was riding in the forest. He saw the dwarf around the glass coffin. He fell in love with Snow White at first sight. "Please let me take her with me," he begged the dwarfs. "We will not part with her," said Dog. But they felt sorry for the prince. They finally agreed to give him the glass coffin. The prince's servants picked up the coffin, but one of them tripped over a log. A glass coffin crashed to the ground. A piece of apple fell out of Snow White's mouth. Then she opened her eyes. "Where am I? What happened?" asked Snow White. "You're safe now," said the prince. "I love you. Will you be my wife?" "Yes, I will," answers Snow White. On the day of the wedding, the evil queen again asked Mirror. "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the most beautiful woman of all?" But to her surprise, the mirror answered, "You, my queen, are beautiful, but the princess' wife is more beautiful than you." When she heard the answer, she screamed. Then she began to choke and suddenly died. Snow White and the prince had many children. The 7 dwarfs became the godparents. They all lived happily together forever. The story is end. Thank you for watching this video.